Welcome to Beauty and the Biz. Discover how to grow your practice with effective cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, and retention advice from author, speaker, trainer, and cosmetic practice business and marketing coach, Catherine Maley, MBA.
Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, and consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Today's episode is called, Want a Smooth Running Practice? After working with surgeons for more than 22 years, I certainly understand how difficult it can be for you to juggle staff, and patients and family and overhead, as well as grow your practice at the same time. So I do feel your pain, and hopefully I've got some good ideas here for you. Because the objective is to set up your cosmetic practice as a business, so it's more profitable, more enjoyable to go to every day, and it frees up your valuable time so you have more of it to spend doing what you like to do with the people you most enjoy being with. How does that sound? So in this podcast, you're going to get the clarity needed as to how to run your practice like a business, and that will give you peace of mind and more free time to enjoy your life, your hobbies, your family, and your special interests. And that means you'll be more productive without working harder, but you'll be achieving better results. So we'll be covering topics including mindset, team building, leadership, marketing, and systems, as well as strategies you need for leverage to think bigger, do better, and earn more, all while enjoying the process. Because, as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, unless you try to do something beyond what you have already mastered, you will never grow. Now, you've already mastered surgery, so now let's master the business and marketing side of surgery. That's what catapults you to success and a much more certain future. So let's start with mindset. Now, as a surgeon, you were programmed to think in a certain fixed way. You had to think that way to become a great surgeon. However, that very thinking is the opposite of how a business person has to think. So, for example, you most likely put more value on you as a surgeon versus growing your staff and your systems. And you work in your practice rather than work on your practice. Now, Michael Gerber explains it well in his excellent book called The E-Myth, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. Now, basically, he says to run a successful business, you need three key players. The entrepreneur to come up with new ideas to keep up with the times, the manager to set up the processes and people so things run smoothly, and the technician to actually do the key work that makes a profit. So in a cosmetic practice, you, the surgeon, are the technician, but you're also juggling the jobs of the entrepreneur and the manager, and that takes different skill sets. That's not a good use of your time, and it will not get you to your financial goals. So we're going to change that up for you, because when you set up systems, you and your staff get clarity. And when you remove the complexity, results happen, because money is always made in the processes. So here's the first big mindset shift. Operate your practice like it's for sale. So in other words, regularly ask yourself, if I wanted to sell my practice tomorrow, what would I need to improve to get the most value for it? Or said another way, if I wanted to buy an existing practice, what would I be looking for and be willing to invest in? It's smart to figure this out now rather than wait until it's too late, because the goal is to have an asset to sell, or at least to enjoy for the rest of your career. Because the alternative is you don't do anything to improve, but then you must know you've only created a job for yourself. Now, that's not a bad thing if that's what you want, but the goal is to be sure you're clear what you're working towards so you're satisfied with the outcome. Okay, enough said. Let's get on with it. Now, here are the 4 core success principles needed to grow a sellable cosmetic practice. Building a team of rock stars, strategic marketing and planning, setting standards so you don't compete on price, and that includes differentiating yourself from your competitors, and setting yourself up to grow and or exit when you're ready. And that includes leadership skills and managing metrics. So we're going to go through each of them. So let's start with the success principle number 1, build a team of rock stars. Hiring the right team for your practice will be your biggest challenge, but also your greatest asset, because it's all about the who. Now, Jim Collins, author of Good to Great, says the most important decisions that business people make are not what decisions, but who decisions. Now, what typically happens is surgeons want to fix the staffing problem quickly. So when a staff person leaves, you have a tendency to hire fast to fill the position. But then you have to deal with bad hires who don't fit your values or your culture. And you know all too well what bad hires cost you. You can't rely on them. They're adding stress to your day and maybe even your nights when you're trying to sleep. They have a negative impact on you, your other staff members, and your bottom line. And did you know a bad hire costs at least 15 times their salary and lost productivity? By the way, there are usually warning signs when staff goes bad. They become moody. They treat other members badly. They don't care anymore. They have a bad attitude. They take excessive time off. They come in late and or start leaving early. They don't participate or contribute. That is a problem that is not going away. So do everyone a favor and take care of it sooner rather than later. So your new motto is hire slowly and fire quickly. So it's called hire slow, fire fast. The point is to take more time at the beginning to choose the right team players so you save a lot of time and grief at the end trying to deal with the toxic staff person who's just not cutting it. And be sure you have the right people doing the right jobs. There's a saying in business, get the right people on the bus, but then get them in the right seats. For example, certain staff should be on the front lines because they have excellent people skills, and other staff have more analytical skills and are typically better suited behind the scenes. Now here's another mind shift change. View staff as an asset, not a liability. The team supporting you is your secret practice building weapon when it comes to patient relations, since they spend more time with your patients than you do. Staff can make or break your cosmetic practice, so be sure you have the right people representing you. They are your leverage. You can't do it all alone, nor should you want to. When you hire the right people, give them the right tools, and hold them accountable, they handle the majority of the practice so you don't have to. And that leads us to, where do you find rock stars? So, I've done a lot in this area. Start with people your staff knows first. Your staff knows you and the practice, and they know who would fit well with the rest of the staff. And they also know they have to vouch for and work for this person. So they'll be careful to choose someone who will make them look good. But here's the pearl. Offer a bounty, but spread it out. That will motivate them even more to be sure they bring you the best talent and that they succeed. Then, if you've exhausted your staff's contacts, put the word out on social media to your followers. They can cast a wide net by sharing your help wanted post with their followers or their friends. Then ask your vendors, since they're the feet on the street and they know which practices are closing, moving, and so on. Then look to your own service providers like the receptionist who works at the high-end hair salon you get your hair cut, or the friendly sales staff who help you pick out new clothes. And then keep your eyes open when you're at five-star restaurants or your country club. Those employees already have the customer service mindset and could be a great fit for your practice. Lastly, cast a wider net by advertising on LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter.com. Now you're doing this to prove to yourself that there is no shortage of talent out there, so you don't have to pick just anyone. Be selective and take your time. Now when interviewing, use a list of questions to help you determine how articulate, confident, and assertive they are, as well as where they see themselves going in life. You'll also use their answers to see how consistent they are when you talk with them in person, should you get that far. Now, as a side note, You want to Google them to check out their social media to see how they represent themselves online. Now, if they do well on the phone interview, do a second interview via FaceTime and ask more questions. You're checking out their demeanor, how articulate they are, if they show up on time, their appearance, etc. Now, if all goes well, have them come in for a live interview. You want to follow up with questions that start with what and how and tell me more. For example, if they have experience in our industry, ask something like, what did you do to help promote the practice that you worked for? Or how did you grow the patient retention? Or tell me more about whatever else they bragged about doing at their last job. By the way, there are some red flags to watch for when you're interviewing someone. If they blame, criticize, or make excuses for their failures, if they cannot explain job moves, and if they speak badly of past bosses. So, if you're feeling good about them, have them spend time with your staff so you can then compare notes since you will all have different perspectives. Then sleep on it. And if you believe this is your new A player, then have them come back again and preferably at lunch hour with you and your team so you can see how they act in a more relaxed atmosphere. Either go out to lunch and see how they act towards the wait staff or have lunch brought in and see how they act in general. Now let's go to success principle number 2, strategic marketing and planning. You're going to discover what the most successful practices focus on to gain market share, how to increase your revenues by up to 33%, how to set up a system for creating a powerful 12-month marketing plan to predictably and reliably keep a steady stream of patients coming to you, increase your average patient's lifetime value so that every patient is worth more to you today, tomorrow, and far into the future, and generate more referrals for your practice without hoping, guessing, or waiting for your patients to mention your name because you'll have a system to make referrals happen like clockwork. You are painfully aware, I'm sure, of how the relentless competition is making it more difficult for you to succeed. So you need to approach patient attraction more strategically. So stop for a minute and think this through before you keep throwing money at the problem, because here's a quote that says it all. The key to success is not doing more, it's doing more of what works. Please don't take that lightly. I watch so many practices go from one shiny object to the next, hoping that will solve their problems. They throw money at all sorts of internet, advertising, and marketing companies who promise them the world, but then don't deliver, and now they don't trust anybody and they're skeptical. So let me give you another easier way to figure this out. Be strategic by focusing on increasing the 5 key metrics that grow a cosmetic practice, and those are the number of leads, the number of appointments, the number of consultations, the number of conversions, and the number of patient retention. Here's the point. You may be focused on the wrong things, such as more new leads. Please remember, leads are only one part of it. That means a lead is just a lead until you get them through your processes to a yes. Otherwise, it's a dead lead going nowhere, which means you're just burning money on lead generation and not conversion and retention. So before you invest in any more new patient attractions, shiny objects, plug up the holes in your systems that are costing you a silent fortune. That's where you'll see new profits more quickly and easily. Now, it's quality over quantity, which means you do less, but you get a better result because you slow down and you go deeper into the numbers that are telling you the truth. So let's go over each metric and start with the one you like the most. I know this for a fact. The number of leads. I know you want more patients, so that means you need to increase the number of leads coming to your practice. So the question becomes, where are the new patients? Well, the answer is they're everywhere and they're nowhere. Prospective cosmetic patients are clicking around like crazy, so you have a nanosecond to catch their attention long enough for them to stop, notice, and click on your website or your banner or your ad or your post. So here's some suggestions. For the foreseeable future, Google rules the world. So do what they like, and you'll have a better chance of getting ranked over your competitors and being found on the internet. So, in a nutshell, Google likes fresh new content, before and after photos, and lots of reviews, particularly Google reviews. So, Google also wants you to pay to play so you're found in the search rankings. But the downside is Google AdWords can cost you a fortune. So, you need to work with someone who knows what they're doing. So, here's my advice. I would have a rule anytime you're considering any kind of advertising or marketing effort, and that is if you can't track it, don't invest in it. It's just too expensive and it's too easy with today's technology to track results. So you no longer have to guess at your marketing's effectiveness. Now, another easier and faster approach to growing your practice is follow your successes. This is so obvious to me, it's easily missed. It's also a more positive way to look at your practice because this is where all of your hard work paid off and where patients choose you and gave you money so you want more of them. Now, as Peter Drucker, the guru of business, said quite succinctly, the purpose of business is to create and keep a customer. So here's an exercise to help you identify your successes. Go through your schedule and note at least the last 40 surgeries or big ticket procedures you performed. You want to know how they heard about you. Did they find you on the internet randomly? Were they referred to you by a friend? Or were they a current patient coming back for more? You also want to note the procedure they had, as well as the demographics, such as age and zip code, because you'll see trends that you'll want to capitalize on and budget proportionately to those successes. Now, once you decide who your preferred patients are, you map out a marketing mix plan to reach new internet stranger patients, as well as a plan to encourage your current patients to return for more and refer more of their friends. You do this with a marketing mix plan by setting up a system to get found on the internet by stranger patients using SEO and content, before and after photos and patient reviews, and you also set up a system for your current patients to return and refer their friends using text, email, social media, and word of mouth referrals. Now, the number 2 metric is the number of appointments. Now, you can get leads all day, but can your receptionist convert them to a scheduled appointment with you? Now, in a nutshell, here are the 5 phone fixes that make all the difference in your receptionist being able to book a caller to an appointment. 1. Answer the phone within 2 rings with a friendly, warm voice and greeting. 2. Ask how they heard about you. 3. Promote you, the surgeon, as the best choice. 4. Ask for the appointment. And then 5. Collect the caller's contact information so you can nurture them and keep in touch. Please be sure you have the right person representing you on the phones, and check out my phone club if they need help. So the 3rd metric is the number of consultations. So how many of the prospective patients who book an appointment actually show up? You and your patient coordinator block time for a consultation, and if your prospective patients are not showing up for their appointments, your valuable time is wasted, not to mention the wasted time and money because now your staff's standing around. So here's what you do. First, you establish a cancellation policy and then live by it. For example, you get their credit card up front and either charge a consultation fee or at least charge a reservation fee that is charged only if they do not cancel or they don't reschedule within 48 hours. Now, you also have your patient coordinator conduct a pre-consult call to introduce herself and to prepare the patient to show up ready to say yes. Now, this pre-consult call will help you get to a yes at the consult and eliminates the no-shows. Now, metric number 4 is the number of converted consultations. How well do you and your patient coordinator convert consultations into procedures? Everything that happens until this point is just pre-marketing. You don't get paid for consultations. You only get paid if you can successfully convert a consultation into a paid procedure. Therefore, this step has the biggest impact on your bottom line. Now, the better you convert consultations into procedures, the more revenues you'll make for your practice. So here's some strategies to help you convert. Use video to give yourself celebrity status. Psychologically, your image is enhanced when prospective patients see you on a screen, no matter what size. Then shoot a welcome to my practice video as well as procedural videos and testimonial videos so patients get a feel for your expertise and are more comfortable with you and see you as the expert and the best choice. And then your patient coordinator must be trained to convert a consultation, which is an entirely separate training. But I will say the number one skill I see coordinators are lacking in is in asking for the decision. So please get them the scripts and structure they need and watch your conversions increase immediately. Check out my converting club at catherinemaley.com. I would love to help your coordinator convert 50% more. Now, the last metric is patient retention. It's 7 times more expensive to attract a new patient than to keep a current patient. So please take this metric as seriously as you do new leads, because if your patients are not returning and referring their friends, something's wrong. They're still getting aesthetic rejuvenation, they're just not getting it from you anymore. So it would behoove you to figure this out, because you cater to a very hungry audience with endless needs. The patients who care about how they look and feel have all sorts of concerns you can address now and for years to come, thanks to the relentless aging process. Now, cosmetic patients enter your practice through many doors. That means a patient who came in for Botox will often work their way up the ladder to surgery or other bigger ticket items. And those who came in for surgery or big procedures are much more likely to now be open to your non-surgical procedures and skincare treatments to stay looking good and feeling great. You have so much leverage here because you already did the hard part, which was spending time, money, and effort attracting this patient to you. Now it takes only minimal effort to keep them coming back. Now here's success principle number 3. Set standards so you don't compete on price. Now here's a popular question I get from surgeons. Catherine, I'm losing consultations to lower priced competitors even though I have more skill and expertise than they do. I've even repaired their work. How should I be pricing my services to compete? I don't want to lower my prices because I know I'm good, but I also don't want to miss out on new patients. Okay, here's what I would say. One of the reasons this happens is because if the cosmetic patient truly believes there is no difference between other physicians and surgeons, all they have to go on is price as their determining factor. But we know there's way more to it. Now, if cosmetic rejuvenation was based solely on price, this would always be about the lowest price, and that would turn into a race to the bottom and then nobody would win. It's only about price until you add in other determining factors to help the prospective patient consider the value they get. So patients weigh their options, because when a cosmetic patient questions your price, they're really doing a cost-benefit analysis in their heads and they're asking themselves, what am I getting from you that I'm not getting from your competitor for that higher price you want to charge me? So patients select their surgeon based on the perception that they're getting better. Better really equals more personal care, less risk, less hassle, and that equals peace of mind, certainty, and reassurance because there's a lot of value to that. So actually, contrary to popular belief, the majority of cosmetic patients rarely decide based on price alone. I promise you. Affordability, yes, but price alone, rarely. Those are the 10% price shoppers at the bottom that you just don't even want to cater to. But pricing starts with your own mindset. Get very clear about your value and what you stand for. Have conviction and believe in yourself and your prices. So if you believe you deserve top dollar because you do great work and you offer quality customer service, then price your services for your preferred patients. Now, those are the patients who see you as a skilled, reputable plastic surgeon, and they're glad to pay more for your expertise and the service they get. So they can be confident they'll get a great result and then brag about you to their friends and family about how well they were taken care of. and consistency is key. Your patients learn to trust your brand and expect the same experience, result, and expertise every time. And here's how to differentiate yourself in a competitive marketplace. Because it really is your responsibility to educate prospective patients so they see you as the best choice at a fair price. So that takes creativity. There's a ton of things you can do, but here's a list of specific differentiators to consider. Okay, you're a specialist in one procedure. You offer advanced technology. You're board certified. You attended top medical schools. You're affiliated with top hospitals. You've authored studies, white papers, and clinical trials. You've performed thousands of procedures. You offer computer imaging when your competitors don't. You have an exceptional facility that's gorgeous with views and waterfalls. You have a caring personality and you really connect with patients. You offer a wow patient experience. You're the first to offer a new procedure. You're a media favorite. Your office setting is unique somehow. You offer convenience or accessibility that others don't. You make house calls. Waiting times are short or non existent. You remember patients' names and details like they were your family or friends. You have exceptionally friendly, professional, and courteous staff. Ding, 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 that's a big one. You ensure a pain-free treatment or procedure. You're well known around your community. You're an author of an aesthetic consumer book. You speak at medical conferences. You train other surgeons on your innovative techniques. Vendors make you an elite top-tiered practice. You sit on vendor boards. You're well known in social media with a huge following. You're from the town you practice in. You have special credentials. You belong to many professional membership societies. You offer easy pay plans. You include post-op care in your fees. You offer more convenient hours. Lots of patient online reviews. You show more before and after photos than anyone else. You offer virtual consulting, and it goes on and on. Now, this exercise will not only help you get clear about your value, but it will also give your prospective patients clarity about why you charge what you charge. They now understand your value and are more willing to pay for it. And lastly, here's success principle number 4, and that is leadership. You know you're doing a good job leading when your practice is running smoothly and your staff is working well together. You have peace of mind, it's running like a well-oiled machine with or without you there. However, if you feel frustrated like you have to do everything yourself, or you feel the need to micromanage to ensure what you think is getting done is actually getting done, that's a red flag. Because if you feel like nobody cares about your practice like you do, that could mean you did not hire the right people, give them the right tools they need to succeed, and or you're not holding them accountable as a leader would. Now, the reality is you simply cannot build a successful practice by yourself. You've got to have a team supporting you. So let's talk about leadership concepts. Now, this is a huge topic, so here are the basics, and then I urge you to become a student of leadership because it will behoove you to do so. So a leader is not born. Like anything else in life, you become a great leader from learning and doing and practicing and getting good at it, just like you did to become a great surgeon. So to begin, a good leader is clear about their vision. Decide now what your vision is and what that means to know thyself. Are you building an empire or just a lifestyle? You need to know that because it will affect every decision you make. Then be sure the staff knows your vision so they perform at the level you need them to because they have clarity and they know the end result you're striving for. So here's an example. Maybe your vision is you're in business to make money helping patients look and feel great about themselves. This allows you to pay your staff well so they continue to enjoy their own lives. You may even consider adding a bigger vision. For example, you give a percentage of your revenues to a philanthropic cause you feel strongly about. That way, you have a bigger why, which helps when determining the how and the what to do to grow your practice. Because staff works harder, longer, and more seriously when they have a bigger why they're working for. Now, it's also nice to give back to the less fortunate and do good in the world. Now you need a mission statement that acts as your rules of conduct. A really good exercise for your team is to develop a new mission statement you all can get behind and live by. For example, we strive to add joy to our patients' lives through genuine caring, generosity of spirit, and the quality of our work. Now, a good leader also takes good care of their team, so their team takes great care of their patients. That means you're genuinely interested in your team members as people first, then as team players. Show interest in their lives and their families and what's important to them. And then catch them doing things right and thank them often. Showing appreciation for your team is priceless. Now, a good leader communicates the culture of the practice. For example, we're in business to make money, and we do that by taking care of our team, so our team takes care of our patients. We do not say no to patients who give us money. We make time for them because that's how we get paid. We treat every patient the same with kindness and respect, always with a smile, no matter how many patients or how crazy it is at times. Or we acknowledge every referral with a heartfelt thank you, and so on. And a good leader makes sure the entire group plans as a team, wins as a team, and celebrates as a team. They also give credit for their success to their team, knowing it would not have been possible without them. A good leader also gives the staff solid goals they can work towards and have something to strive for that is concrete. A good leader meets with the team, listens to them, and gets feedback from the team, and then lets them brainstorm how they will meet their goals. A good leader then holds them accountable without micromanaging. And team meetings are a must when you run your practice like a business. Hold your meetings on the same day and time so nobody can say they didn't know about it. It's always on the calendar, and stick to it for consistency. Now, this is a true team building effort and keeps everybody engaged and interacting with the success of the practice. The agenda of the meeting should be structured and fast-paced, with everyone participating by reporting on the numbers they're in charge of, because you want to know at a glance if you're healthy or hurting, and that's easy to do when you regularly review your numbers. Now, a good business leader also sets up their practice to grow and or sell. They're always planning their exit to build a legacy and get their equity out. So let's talk about profit centers. Now, when you run your practice like a business, the goal is to get to no more than 30% of your income coming from your own hands. And that's usually a shock to every surgeon I say that to, because they're typically over 90% of the revenue being generated. But that's how you set yourself up to grow and or sell. And it allows for life surprises. Should you encounter your house burning down, a skiing accident, or hurricane, or whatever else life throws at you. And here are other questions to ask yourself. What are the opportunity costs of you doing everything? And what could you be doing to make more hourly? Because sometimes one of the smartest questions you can ask yourself is, what are you going to stop doing that is costing you time, money, effort, and hassle? However, there are two thought processes here when it comes to keeping or delegating. For example, let's talk about injectables. You like doing the injectables because you think you're bonding with the patients, or you delegate them so you have more time to spend with the higher revenue patients. Okay, so that's your choice. Now, there's no right answer. There's just a right answer for you. So please think about what makes most sense for you. Now, here's what I have seen works best in a solo practice. Since surgery is the most profitable revenue stream, you set up your other profit centers to feed the surgery. Now, the most popular revenue generators are nurse injectors, laser technicians, estheticians that can also perform high-ticket procedures and sell retail. However, they too need goals, tools, and accountability. Now, for example, their goals should be to take great care of your patients, to give them the best results possible, and to refer their patients to you, the surgeon, whenever an opportunity comes up to do so. And then what about additional profit centers like a vein center or hair restoration center or anti-aging center or adding a dermatologist or some other non-competing yet related specialty. So here's my best tip. Hire slowly because you can lose a ton of time and money on this project and be so aggravated and get stuck in legal stuff. So here are the criteria to help you determine if it's a go, no go on a new profit center. Does the new staff fit your culture and have the same values as you do? Is their profitability at least 10 to 15%? Do they act as a feeder to your ultimate goal, which is cosmetic surgery? Do you have to buy equipment? And if so, does it pay for itself within 2 years? Because technology will not drive your practice, people do. Also, how much of your time is going to be involved? Can you systemize it? What's the competition like? How much is it going to cost you to promote this new service in your marketplace? Is this a distraction taking away from more profitable revenue generators? And do you like the business side of practicing all those, managing those profit centers, meeting with accountants and lawyers and consultants? And are you bringing these new people on, let's say, as a partner, or will you be the benevolent dictator until they buy in to succeed you? Do you enjoy solving problems? Do you enjoy managing people and maximizing human potential? And if not, bigger is not always better. Please know thyself. But if you decide to move forward, you need accurate cost accounting for each revenue stream, so your books must be in order. Otherwise, you will never truly know if it's a profitable profit center or if it should be dropped. Lastly, let's talk about exit strategies. Now, it's been said the only reason to have a business or a practice is to grow it or sell it. So the question is, what is your practice worth? Now, this is tricky because you want to get paid for the risk and effort it took for you to build the name for yourself in the practice, with the blood, sweat, and tears and goodwill that went into building your practice as well as your reputation. But that's subjective and intangible, which makes it very difficult to put a price on it. So you turn to tangible and financial assets such as the office building, hopefully if you bought it, the equipment, the furniture, inventory, accounts receivable, if any, minus the liabilities such as payroll taxes, loans, and retirement plan contributions. Now, there's a lot more that goes into that I'm going to leave for the lawyers and the accountants, but here's a more practical way to look at it from a business point of view. You, the seller, has a ready-made income stream to sell. The buyer is looking for a ready-made income stream to buy. In business, that is what value is all about. But here's the reality when it's all said and done. The bottom line is your practice is only worth whatever somebody else is willing to pay for it. So think about it. What would you be willing to pay for if you were going to buy someone else's practice? And that brings us back to the assets I mentioned earlier on. Your profits, your people, the processes, the tools, the patient list, the P&L statements, the vendor agreements are all of value. But in order to present these assets to a potential buyer, you have to have your act together, because the buyer is looking for an asset's ability to generate cash with a degree of certainty, predictability, and limited risk. So you need to show a prospective buyer how you have built a cash cow. You do that with a cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, retention plan, so they can see with their own eyes how you keep a steady stream of patients and revenues coming in. And then you show them your systems and your processes that keep your office running smoothly and your staff on their game. And you show them your constant review of your metrics to show the health of your well-oiled machine. And then you show them your clean and organized books, and that includes not overextending yourself with too much debt, since there's a big difference between income and actual profits. And there you have it. That's how you enjoy a smooth running practice. Now, of course, I know I covered a ton here, and I hope it was of value to you. And if you want to get into this deeper, you don't want to wait until you're ready to retire. You want to start looking at this in your 50s for sure. So do give me a call. We can do a free strategy call, and I can, lead you in the direction that I know works well because I've been at this for a long time. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Would you please do me a favor and give me a good review at Beauty and the Biz on iTunes? And if you've got any feedback or questions for me, I'd love to hear from you. And you can just leave me a message at catherinemaley.com, or you can certainly DM me at Instagram at catherinemaley.mba. Thanks so much, and we'll talk again soon.
We hope you found valuable insight on this episode of Beauty and the Biz. For more episodes, tools, and Catherine's free book, visit www.catherinemaley.com. That's www.catherinemaley.com. And be sure to subscribe to get the latest practice building strategies delivered to you. And don't forget to share this Beauty and the Biz podcast with your staff and colleagues.